We play.
We fight.
We conquer.
Welcome to the Freak Show, where our one rule is, if you see a dragon, run! I am your host, Bumpy McSquigums. We're diving into Swordbreaker Origins by Ducats Games Studio, and it released onto PlayStation 4 and 5, Switch, Xbox One, S, and X on May 5th, 2023. And prior to that, it released onto PC back on May 13th of 2022. So this looks like it's going to be just a fun time. Parody, comedy, writing, good stuff. I've not touched it. I've not played it yet. I'm going to go into it and experience it. My controller is very vibrate heavy when we move between selections, which is kind of neat. There's a map. Oh my God, there is a map. That is a lot of information or things. All right, well, let's get into our adventure.
The mysterious adventurer that one day shaped the fate of the abandoned castle. But how? Did he save the princess? Did he become the Dark Lord? Or has he stolen the Lord's gem? What do we know about the Swordbreaker at all? Who is he? And how did he get his nickname? This story will tell you about the time when a naive boy wasn't the Swordbreaker yet, and he would have to face his fate at a young age. And who knows if he become that same man known for his adventures in the castle, or if totally different ones awaits him.
Indeed. I'm gonna have to
It all began in his home village of Sunny Hills, where he spent his childhood days.
I'm gonna have to play around with the volume slider a lot on this, just because you generally don't see it very much anymore these days. But I would much appreciate any developer that will take note and can do this. Again, I don't know how complicated this is. Please give us separate sliders for stuff like voice, sound effects, music. Those are super important. So, you know, I would like to have the voice loud enough to hear and have the music not drowning out my own voice and such. If I'm just playing it on my own, which, again, 99% of the people that play it will be playing it on their own, it's fine that they can have the loud music and all that stuff, and they can turn it up and down however they want to do it. But, like, for me, I'm going to have to play with the Elgato slider for this. This is the PlayStation 5 version of the game, by the way, guys and gals. And a big shout out and a thank you to Ducat Games Studio and Keymailer for hooking me up with the code for this, which I didn't say before because I got distracted by many things. But please give us a couple of different volume sliders for any developer out there that happens to check out this video. It helps tremendously with being able to balance stuff how we would like it balanced. And we understand that might be different than how you expect it to be. But depending on, especially, you know, content creators, what we're doing, we need that control a little bit more. Anyway, let's see what we're doing here. Show statistics and the map. Okay. Read the story. Daniel. Okay. And hide the UI there. And then choose your way. Okay. All right. Interesting enough. Daniel, is it Horde? Is that an A? It's an O. Daniel Horde, your food is ready. Come home quick. His mother called sternly. Coming, Mom, the little boy shouted back from some bushes. Danny climbed out of a bush near the neighboring house, waved goodbye to his friends, and went into his house. His family wasn't rich, but his mother's income was enough for a normal life. They also had a garden where they grew crops. So the Horde family had a lot of things to take care of. Daniel had no father. He died. His father was a soldier in King Stefan's army and was mortally wounded in the first attack of the Mingols. The boy never saw him, and it made him feel sad at times. Eat your lunch and go to school, his mother said. What should Daniel answer? Choice. Why do I have to go to school? All right, mother. What does this do? Oh, that's so much easier. I say. I kind of wish I could extend that. That's great. That's good. See? That's good. Why do I have to go to school? Why do I have to go Go to school? Asked the boy. Why do you have to? His mother was surprised. All children go to school to become smart. But I want to be a soldier like my dad, Danny said sadly. All in good time, son. When you grow up, you'll decide for yourself what you want, to serve in the army or become a farmer. Do you really need to go to school for that? Sorry. His mother said, look, Uncle Tom is a fat, well-to-do farmer. He has his own herd of sheep and cows, and they bring him a lot of money. Wouldn't you like to be like him? His mother insisted. Danny didn't really want to be a fat farmer and mess around in manure, but he didn't say anything. Oh, okay. All right, mother. So I guess that was the offshoot. Okay, I understand. All right. So now we're going to school. Danny ate his lunch and left his house. He walked down the village street towards his school. He didn't want to go to school, but his mother insisted on it. When he was far enough away from home, he suddenly had an idea. Maybe he could skip school and seek some adventures in the forest. All right, I think you already know what's going to happen. We're going into the forest. I am sorry. Come what may, the boy thought, and he ran in the direction of the forest. The tall trees rustled noisily in the wind. The strange berry bushes growing between the trees beckoned to Danny. He found a path that led off into the distance. Should he eat the berries, go along the path, or go the opposite direction from the path? I mean, we're going to go the opposite direction. We want to go off the beaten path, and I'm not sure I want to eat some random berries out in the wilderness at this point. Danny decided not to follow the path, but turned into a thicket. He walked for several minutes until he came to a strange clearing. The grass in the clearing was flattened, and some mosaic glass pieces were scattered right over it. The boy looked around, but found no one nearby. Should he play around with the mosaic glass, or go further? Yeah, let's play with some glass. That sounds safe. Oh, make a mosaic. I have to do a thing, huh? Oh no. Oh, well, what have I done? Is this like a puzzle? Oh, I feel like... Okay, hold on. There's a thing underneath. I see. I understand. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, not what I was expecting. I will say it's a little awkward. Well, again, for me, this is a me thing, not necessarily an everybody thing. I find it's a little awkward to use the controller moving this stuff around, just a little bit, not like horribly awkward. I'm just a little bit less than obviously than I would be with a keyboard and mouse. That is my preferred method to do most things. I think we found our first piece that fits here. Hey, look at that, it snapped into place. I like that. And I appreciate that. It lets you know that you actually did your job correctly. And this might go here. Yeah. I'm well on my way to solving this puzzle. Just you guys wait like an hour and a half while I slowly move each piece around. Again, this is kind of a me problem. This looks like a hand, doesn't it? Where does the hand piece go? I don't really see anything that... Oh, right here. Half obscured by other things. So it makes sense why I didn't see it. This goes here. This is here. Here? Yeah, now we're starting to breeze along. Down here. I'm like, I'm not sure this angle. I don't really see much that's going on there. Alright, and then this can go here. Look at us. Just solving puzzles and puzzle solvals. I don't know where this goes. There it is. This is a big boy piece. Big old fat piece. It's right there. Okay. We're getting there. It's not too bad. Aren't I just lovely? That did go there, right? I'm a little worried like stuff might go into place that it's not supposed to. That'll just look dumb. Alright, so we get to do little puzzle solving things. This is kind of cool. So this is kind of a choose your own adventure type experience. Where does this go? I don't know where that goes. We'll figure it out. You would think it would go along the bottom somewhere. There we go. Big boy leaf there. This goes on the far outside. Yep. This goes up here. This goes here, I believe. There. Bit by bit, piece by piece, we're figuring it out. It does go there. I just gotta line it up right. There we go. Oh, there's stuff down here. Interesting. I don't think I knew that. Alright. That explains why that piece didn't fit before. This goes right there. I know. Compelling content watching me poorly put a puzzle together. I don't think I did too bad. I think we did alright. Boop. And boop. And this would be our little blue guy. And then we just have the leaves at the bottom to finish. Which I think is just fine. This goes along the bottom. This goes along the top. And then last two. It works better than I thought it would, to be honest. Like, I was surprised that, like, I say it's a little awkward for me to move around and do stuff, but, oh my goodness, what's happening? But at the same time, it's not as bad as I thought I would be at it, so good job on them, I guess. All right, Danny put together a beautiful mosaic, and it started to shine fabulously. The boy didn't expect such an effect and moved away from it timidly. Well done, Danny heard a girl's voice. I've been trying to put it together all day myself. Who are you? Come out and show yourself, the boy replied. Then a pretty face peeked out from behind a thick tree. It was a girl, about the same age as Daniel. Her sharp ears were the only difference from a normal person. Hey, I'm Xana, the princess of the southern forest. When I grow up, I'll be queen of the elves, the girl said proudly. And I'm Daniel, although you can call me Danny, the boy said awkwardly. Nice to meet you, Danny. Let me show you our forest, Xana said. I'd love to, but it's getting dark. Wow, it really did take us a long time, huh? And my mom will take a belt to me if I don't get back home, said Daniel. Then let me see you off, and you must promise to come and visit me someday, the elven girl said with a smile. I will, the boy replied. Wow, 10 years later. Okay, 10 years passed. Daniel grew up, but he still wanted to become a soldier. However, now he was worried about one thing, whether he wanted to be a soldier in the royal army or a free warrior. One summer day, a Rangwin enlistment officer arrived at Sunny Hills. He stopped at the tavern, got off his horse, and rang the bell to gather the people for an announcement. When they finally gathered around him, the officer unfolded a scroll with a seal. In the name of King Stefan, I command all young men between the ages of 20 and 25 to be drafted into the army for 5 years. The mobilization is being carried out due to the increased activity of the Imperial troops on the western borders. The men must arrive at the barracks in Rangwin within 10 days. Those who decide to dodge the draft will be hanged for treason, the officer read. After that, his assistants handed out draft cards to all the men who fit the requirements. Danny realized that this was the moment to make a difficult choice in his life. Should he go to Rangwin or try to escape into the woods? Or maybe he should ask the officer a silly question. Well, I mean, we already kind of have this thing going on with the forest. We built a puzzle there 10 years ago. I said we go hang out in the forest. Danny decided to become a free adventurer and not serve the king. He gathered up his belongings and went into the forest. It was the forest near his village. The trees rose high into the sky, and there were bushes with bright berries all around. The young man walked for a long time until he got tired. He decided to camp for the night, so he built a fire and made a small shelter out of some tree branches. He noticed a mushroom under a tree. Well, I hope it's edible, Daniel said aloud. Should he eat the mushroom raw, cook it over the fire, or should he just go to sleep? Or maybe he should take the mushroom with him. I actually think I'm going to take the mushroom with me. Daniel took the mushroom and put it in his pocket. Now he can go to sleep? Sure. In any incomprehensible situation, go to sleep. Danny remembered Uncle Tom's words. The old forest swayed in the night. The crickets chirped steadily, lulling Daniel to sleep. The young man crawled into a shelter, curled up, and fell asleep. In the middle of the night, Daniel was awakened by a loud cracking sound of a branch somewhere near his shelter. He grabbed his sword. Should he climb out of his shelter to the fire, sit quietly, or scream? Let's sit quietly. Oh. Daniel was startled and a drop of cold sweat rolled down his forehead. He heard some footsteps in the silence of the night. Suddenly a wolf passed in front of his shelter. The other two were wandering behind the fire. They hadn't noticed him yet. Hack the nearest one from behind, try to climb a tree, or kick the large wolf in the butt. Hack the wolf in the back with the sword. You know what? Let's be bold. And by bold, I mean stab him in the back. That's horrible. Daniel cautiously crawled out of his shelter and fiercely plunged his sword into the back of the nearest wolf. The wolf whined and then died. One down, the other two turned in his direction and ran at the young man. Should he jump over the fire or try to slash them with the sword? Jump over the fire, man. Daniel ran toward the wolves that were advancing from behind the fire. He jumped over the fire, and the wolves did the same. They met in the air. Time seemed to have slowed down for the young man. He was flying over the fire and looking into the wolves' eyes. He thought he had time for a maneuver. Should he jump on the back of the left wolf and slash the right one with the sword, or jump on the right one, slash the left? Jump on the left, slash the right. Jump on the left wolf. Danny jumped on the left wolf and pushed off with his feet at its body and shot himself toward the right one. The left wolf fell into the fire and started burning. Daniel cut the right one in half with the sword while he was still in the air. Daniel's pretty amazing, let's be fair. Some incredible, cool-looking artwork, too. I like it a lot. All hand-drawn. It's nice. It's quite lovely. Very painterly. It's good. In the morning, Daniel went out to a... That's how it ends. Just... Okay. Oh, okay. In the morning, Daniel went out to a small clearing in the woods and sat down on a stump to take a breather after the long walk. Put your hands up, stranger, Danny heard a man's voice. I'm no threat to you and am ready to have a peaceful talk, he said while putting his hands up. It's not for us to decide. We don't like strangers here. You've trespassed on the boundary between the territories of the human and the elves of this forest. We'll have to take you to our queen and let her decide your fate, said a man with elven ears wearing beautiful armor who appeared from the thicket. Another guard followed him out. Wow, the queen of the elves will decide my fate. That's an interesting turn of events, guys, I must say, Danny smiled. Shut up and move. The elven guard raised his voice with irritation. Should Daniel go to the queen, irritate the guards, or kill them and mind his way? We're going to go see our friend the queen. They walked with the guards through the forest for quite a while until they came to an open clearing with a massive tree in the middle. On its boughs there were small elven houses, platforms, and stairs. The entire glade was covered with elven houses and buildings. The settlement looked as though it came straight from some storybook. Elven guards brought Daniel to a tree and stopped. Report to the queen about the prisoner, said one guard to another. The second guard nodded and went to the passageway into the tree. Twisted and tangled roots. A minute later, a girl in a beautiful dress appeared in it. She was so beautiful, several other guards walked beside her. Greetings, stranger, she said. I am Queen Xana, the ruler of Theoliwa. Yep, said that flawlessly. City of the elves, and of the whole southern forest. The queen introduced herself haughtily. What should Daniel answer? Greet her, goad her, remind her of them meeting before. Boom. Xana, it's been a long time. It's me, Danny. We met many years ago in the forest, remember? Daniel exclaimed, both surprised and delighted. Danny, is that you? Oh, I'm so happy to see you. You've changed so much. You've grown up to be such an attractive young man. Ooh. But you didn't keep your promise. You haven't visited me since then, Xana said. She walked over to the young man and hugged him. Yes, after that incident, my mother started to keep an eye on me more. That's why I couldn't visit you. I'm sorry, Danny said. Well, that's all right. The main thing is that we are together again, the Elven Queen said happily. I agree, the boy said. I guess if you're here today, then it's fate. I would like to ask you for some help, and I hope you won't refuse, Xana said. Well, how can I help you? The young man asked. Now, it's a long story, so I won't go into the details. Really? I'll make it brief. Our forest is our home and our protection. We live in peace with all animals, races, and peoples of Dorgan. Elves don't like war, but they're always ready for it. There are some vampires in the eastern part of our forest. At first, they started attacking animals. Now they moved on to attack humans and elves. A long time ago, they destroyed all the dendroids in our forest by killing most of the animals. And now, the Order of the Long Root wants to perform a ritual to summon the spirit of the last dendroid, which could help us to defeat the vampires. Your task will be to help the Order with everything and protect it from the vampires while they perform their magic rituals. Well, and not disturb them, of course. In fact, I have another request for you. Far away from here, in the swamps, there lives an old woman, Baba Yaga. She's an old witch, and she is in close cooperation with those vampires. If you manage to destroy her, then not only can we force the vampires to retreat, we can also launch an attack and wipe out this evil forever. What do you say to that? Xana gasped out. What should Daniel answer? There's a lot of options here. I'll help you. Sorry, I can't do this. What are the dendroids? Tell me more about Baba Yaga. Let's go with the dendroids here. We are going to have to break off the episode soon, though, guys and gals. So, see about the dendroids. What are these dendroids? Danny asked. Dendroids are living trees that inhabited our forest for thousands of years. They were peaceful. That's what prevented them from seeing the enemy in the vampires in time. The dendroids are tied to their places of growth. They can't walk because they grow roots deep into the soil. Vampires have poisoned the earth with rotting and infected animal bodies. The dendroids started to dry up, even though they sent us a signal for help, and the vampires were destroyed. They didn't make it. Therefore, we created the Order of the Long Root, which is located on the site where the oldest dendroids of the forest grew, Xana said. Okay, and then let's ask about Baba Yaga, and then we're going to break it off. Tell me more about this Baba Yaga. How can I find her, and what has she done to you? Daniel asked. Okay, Baba Yaga was our court mage many centuries ago. Yes, she's an elf, too. However, something dark crept into her heart, so she became very aggressive and started to interfere with my father's rule. No one could tolerate her in the city anymore, and it was decided to exile her. She went to live away from us in the northern swamps. It would be hard to recognize her as an elf now because black magic changes the essence of living beings. She's a terrible old witch. If it wasn't for her fraternizing with our enemies, the vampires, we would have forgotten all about her. Since she used to live with us, she now has all the information they need, which makes it easier for them to plan their attacks on us. She absolutely needs to be obliterated. The northern swamps are located behind Dorgan Range. You'll easily notice it, Queen Xana said. Alright guys and gals, before we take another step into our adventure, we're going to have to break it off right here, but we'll definitely come back and we'll see through dealing with Baba Yaga or going to battle the vampires or what have you. We're definitely going to help the elves, I'm just saying. We abandoned our king and we went for elf fraternizing, I guess. I don't know. I don't tell you. All right, cool. So it's a choose your own adventure. There's some mini games and stuff thrown in here. It's available on PC and pretty much all current gen and past gen consoles. So if you guys like what you saw, you can definitely grab the game for yourselves and enjoy. It is once again called Swordbreaker Origins. And a big shout out to Ducats Games Studio and Keymailer for coming up with the code for this. I thought it looked pretty cool. Wanted to check it out. I'm super happy that I got a chance to do so. So thank you very much. If you want more information about the game, where to get the game, information on the developer, any of that stuff down below in the description of the video. I'll provide all the links that I can find for you. And until the very next episode, I've been your host, Bumpy McSquigums. Thank you so much for stopping by the Freak Show. We play, we fight, we conquer.